And I thought he was too senior to edit books. And then he tells me that's what he eats. Books are his food. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Charles Ong'ondo is the director and CEO of the KICD, or if you want, the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, and you know him very well and is in the house. Professor will come here, and himself is going to address us on innovating the JSS curriculum and pedagogy for a transformative and sustainable impact in the present and the coming decade. For Professor to feel that we feel him, maybe very quickly we can narrate the 7 core competencies as he listens. Communication and collaboration. 1, critical thinking and problem solving. Imagination and creativity. Citizenship, learning to learn. Self-efficacy, digital literacy. Ladies and gentlemen, I was reading the core competencies. He doesn't read, he says them offered. Makofi kwake Professor.
Thank you very much, Bwana Cheva. The National Chairman, KEPSHA, and your esteemed committee, all my colleagues from the sector of education, led today by our DG, represented by Bwana Barongo, my colleague CEOs who very eloquently spoke before me, all partners in the room, ladies and gentlemen of KEPSHA, good morning. No, good afternoon. Good afternoon. KEPSHA oye. KEPSHA oye. When you say oye, you wave. KEPSHA oye. Thank you very much. Allow me to bring my colleagues who are in the room on board. I want to introduce them, Madam Eunice and Charles Munene and Patrick Andika. Please come to the front. As they come, ladies and gentlemen, as KICD, we want to say how pleased we are to partner with KEPSHA during this momentous 20th anniversary, and particularly to remind ourselves that KICD is part and parcel of KEPSHA because your chair, Captain Nzioka, sits on the KICD Council. Please give him another round of applause. As he sits there, he is a member of the Curriculum Technical Committee of Council and also the chair of the Human Resource Panel at KICD. And he has always led and questioned how much representation we have from KEPSHA in development of our curriculum reforms. Give Captain Nzioka another round of applause. Listening to Mr. Nzioka this morning as he unpacked the recommendations of the Presidential Working Party on curriculum reform, then this country can confirm KEPSHA and the entire leadership of our primary schools are in the right hands. Let us cheer ourselves again. Now, KICD is still that institution of yours whose primary mandate is to develop curricula and curriculum support materials, and also to evaluate all materials and equipment. I want to emphasize the word equipment for the sake of Dr. Joel Babonga that come to our schools. It is also our responsibility to partner with all education stakeholders in ensuring that our learners are partaking the right curriculum. In that regard, especially of evaluation, I want to thank my colleagues who have been here, particularly Dr. Mabonga and Mr. Lomaria, in emphasizing, and also our sister from the counterfeit, in emphasizing, ladies and gentlemen, that when we purchase or acquire materials for our learners, it is extremely important that we confirm that they have been approved by KICD in our role as gatekeepers of what our learners consume. And in that regard, I want to introduce a lady here. Madam Eunice Gachoka is our Senior Deputy Director in charge of educational media. Ladies and gentlemen, we have three categories of educational media. We have print media, which normally come to us as books. Mr. Lomaria has just shown us one here, which falls within the category of the complementary support materials. Then we have digital media, and our chair in his remarks did mention, which I need to emphasize from the onset, that KICD indeed hosts a lot of materials that you will find very relevant in your schools in digital form. A lot of the lessons for primary school learning areas already packaged from topic 1, strand 1 to the last strand, exists within the Kenya Education Cloud. And then lastly, we have education broadcast, radio and television, and the person in charge of those at the KICD is none other than Madam Eunice Gachoka. Eunice, you can raise up your hand as the band gives you a drum. Hey, if you're not going to drum for Eunice, then who are you waiting to drum for? Thank you. Now, this man here is in charge of e-learning. You can see at KICD we take good care of our staff. Hence, you can now recognize why Captain Nzioka is the chair of the Human Resource Committee. You can see the kind of products he produces. But on this occasion, Charles comes to us, particularly to encourage us to register on the Elimika platform, where a lot of free digital training on management on other aspects of our work is offered. The chairman, in your speech, you reiterated the need for increased and enhanced capacity building. I can declare to us, ladies and gentlemen, that there's already a lot of enhanced training opportunities available on the Kenya Education Cloud platform, and this gentleman will be able to register you today or during the conference from the KICD tent. Mr. Patrick Andika, his other name is Chireswa. In KICD we call him governor, is in charge of partnerships. I'm sure Dr. Banyasa knows him very well. Partnerships also means partnership with KEPSHA. And on this occasion, I want to reiterate one thing that I know is facing us. Occasionally, you find that you have not been supplied with books. Sometimes you find that you don't even have curriculum designs. And indeed, as I talk to us, curriculum designs for grade 8 and even books are ready and being distributed now. Later on, I will be pleading with the chairman to plead with you to make sure that we have some teachers available in schools during these long holidays to receive those books. But I'll be doing that later on. Now, the books are being distributed. Mr. Lomaria here is distributing almost 3 of them. If they delay, ask him where mathematics is, visual arts, and even physical and health education. And the person to contact, who will be here throughout the conference chair. If you have any questions on junior school, this man has been in KICD until his head is now turning gray. He can explain everything about the curriculum. Clap for my team as they go to sit. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you asked me to talk to you about innovating the junior school curriculum and pedagogy in order to transform and create impact. Chairman, thank you very much and congratulations to KEPSHA on an extremely apt theme, the theme on innovation. But thank you, Father, for giving me a topic that when I break down already gives me what to talk about, so I do not need to write. And the first thing I want to unpack, therefore, is the word innovating. Ladies and gentlemen, basically, a professor is a teacher. And in my role as a teacher, I like simplifying issues. Simply translate the word innovation into changing. If you like using synonyms, then you can use words like enhancing. If you want to sound a bit big, especially if you come from where I come from, you can say invigorating. You can, that is innovating. There's a man in your midst who gives me tough questions called Manyasa. What exactly are we innovating? We can break it into 3 questions anytime you are faced with the word innovating. 1, what is it that we can continue doing the way we are doing it? That is also innovating. So in the context of the competency-based curriculum, first with junior school, which has come into our space, and last year junior school had just been announced as coming to the primary school, and I declared my support, which I still do. What is it that we can continue to do continually the way we're doing it? I'll mention that later. But innovating also raises the question, what is it that we can do differently? And I always say that the main departure between CBC and the knowledge-based curriculum that we call the 844 is that CBC emphasizes learner participation. CBC is that curriculum where our role as facilitators of learning, our role as guides by the sides and not sages on stage is more emphasized. So that is one thing that we might say CBC calls upon us to do. What do we do differently? Emphasize more learner-centered pedagogies. But innovating also means we ask ourselves the question, what is it that we can imagine doing? What is it that we can create within our space that we have not had? And ladies and gentlemen, that is the essence of reforming a curriculum. Recently, I had an opportunity to be sponsored by this government on a trip abroad. Where I come from, if you don't mention that you have been abroad, your speech doesn't make sense. So I'm also saying that deliberately. I went to the United Arab Emirates, which is also called Dubai. These people have a museum which looks into 100 years to come. And I want to emphasize again, ladies and gentlemen, a curriculum, simply put, is a plan, a schedule of activities, a schedule of experiences that our learners should be exposed to. Why? The learners that you have in grade 6 today, whom you have just released, what we are exposing them to, yes, may manifest today, but it will probably manifest more when they graduate from senior school. So we must think about what competencies will this learner display when they finish senior school. That is innovating. Now, the talk you gave me is to talk about how do we innovate the curriculum in the context of junior school. By the way, Chairman, the word adopted under the direction of His Excellency the President, Juan William Samoei Daktari Arap Ruto, is junior school, not junior secondary. And that falls within the comprehensive word. Colleagues, can you whisper to your neighbor, junior school? Good. That is a presidential directive. So every time you say junior secondary, you are breaking the wishes of the president. Now, 2 ways of innovating the curriculum at junior school. One is, what does KICD do in terms of innovating the curriculum? But 2, what do we expect of KEPSHA to do? But let me declare that even in terms of what KICD does, ladies and gentlemen, KICD has buildings which have been given names of animals. Panacademia, you know them. Some of them are called Kifaru, some of them are called Simba, some of them are called